Welcome to the Sport Report. I'm Conrad Negron with Alex Negron. A Shield of Dreams production brought to you by Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority. Alex, you know, we've done a couple of shows. It was a busy week for both the Coyotes and us this last week. Pretty busy.
It was very busy, very productive, and very exciting, especially after that barn burner game that we had on Sunday.
Well, let's talk about that. That was your first play-by-play broadcast with the Coyotes.
Yes, it was. And it was a privilege to be calling such an exciting game. I mean, there was a 101-yard kickoff return that I got to get excited about, although it wasn't our team.
Well, they had the Coyotes won 22-20. It was more fun, than a mud fight with the sprinkler on, and that's a quote from the coach.
Yeah.
The Sharks came to play. The Coyotes kind of came to play, but I've never seen anybody. They left it out there. The Sharks we're trying to get parity into the DFI. And the Sharks came. They had field position, of which they didn't have 2 weeks ago when we were playing in Granada Hills at the John Elway Stadium. You called I'm really upset with you. You called a 101-yard touchdown. How fast? You never talked that fast in your life.
No, I didn't even know how many yards. And when it went from 50 to 40 to 30 to 25, he's going all the way. And then we had another Shark drive. They were on their 20-yard line, and they made a pass, and it was an 80-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah,
which was exciting to see and call. And then they had a 60-yard play, and the Sharks did come out to play, and they were aggressive. And the Coyotes they were going back and forth, and I think that was the first time that I've seen that the Coyotes were down at halftime.
They were down at halftime. We talked about that on the Coaches Show every Monday live on Facebook. The game, they started, I think, call it the 20-yard line, and they drove down, and there were 9 seconds left in the game. They were on the 15-yard line, and their quarterback, Donnie Duncan, which is one of the most elusive guys I've ever seen in my life, he scrambled all the way back to the 40-yard line, unleashed a
Hail Mary pass with 9 seconds left to a group of about 10 people, maybe more, all in a circle in the middle of the end zone. And the ball bobbled, went up and down. We're wondering who's going to catch it, who's going to win, what's going to happen. And then it turned out it was an incomplete pass.
Well, I thought, from where I was standing in the booth, it looked like the Shark was right there ready to.
Yeah, it looked like it could have been a pass.
I think it got punched out. I think Scott Alvarez has already seen the footage and says that he did catch it. Except then one of our guys, I think it was Mario. Who was it, Scott? I think it was. I can't remember. That's right. Alfredo Melendez. We changed numbers. Remember, we're trying to get the roster straight, and they changed numbers because we went from white to blue, and we had a hard time for a while figuring out who was who.
Being the first time that I called the game and didn't know anyone's number made it a little bit more challenging. So I just said Jake Sheffield a lot. I knew his number.
We're going to have him as a guest here in a few minutes. He's going to talk about his new show with Michael Carls. We had Michael Carls on last week. We're going to talk about SWAT Fit, brought to you by Coyotes' main sponsors, SWAT Fuel, Big Rock Pub. We were out there. Scott Alvarez does a show on Friday with Tom Flores. Remember Tom Flores? I mean, he's a legend. Did you know that Tom Flores played every year that the AFL existed? 10 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just looked it up. He's and again, here's a trivia question for anybody. What two players in the NFL have won a Super Bowl as a player, assistant coach, and head coach? Who is it?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Tom Flores.
Tom Flores. The other one you have to think about, but you'd get it after I say it. I'm going to give you the answer. It's Mike Ditka, and because he was again a player, and then he was with the Cowboys, and then he became the head coach and won it with the Chicago Bears. So that was interesting. Let's talk a little bit about high school football. This last week, we're kind of ranking, but Palm Desert who's my pick as the number one team in high school football, they beat La Quinta 34-32. So La Quinta really put up one heck of a game.
They put up a good fight. It was for the flag, the annual flag game.
That's right. And then Coachella Valley dropped 61 to Indio's 38. I think Coachella Valley's been dropping 60-60 a lot on these last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're playing very well. Although I have to say I do understand the pink for the month of October, but those uniforms that they wore,
a little pink,
a little bit off pink, a little bit pale. But
well, Rancho Mirage, I think,
very
struggling.
good.
Palm Springs beat them 21-12, and then Xavier, who was favored in the Shadow Hills game, of which I called my first high school football game. And Shadow Hills was down 10-0 in the first quarter. And then they proceeded to shut them down 35-10 Shadow Hills. And like I said, it was senior night. Boy, they put on a show over there. They had the band sat in front of me. They had a great show at halftime. The place was packed, and it was exciting. I think a few penalties. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The NFL, they were talking about how the NFL, the referees are having an influence in the game. And I don't like to talk too much about the referees, but we're going to talk about the referees. There were some calls where, I just said, a holding play 30, 40 yards away from the play, is just, it didn't affect the outcome. But they called it. And so there were some complaints. But all in all, it was a fun evening doing high school. Shadow Hills.
Well, and Shadow Hills, their coaching staff, which is, I was reading, this is a game from last week, but you have the coach, Ron Shipley, and Dan Armstrong. Both were at La Quinta, and Shipley was the assistant under Dan Armstrong, and he was there for 23 years. And they're playing La Quinta, and Patrick Ravenis, who's now the coach for the La Quinta, all three of them have ties together. So that was a good, rivalry type type game that I thought was a great game. So.
Well, they in calling the ranks, Yucca beat Cathedral City 44-15, and then 29 Palms dropped 48 on Desert Mirage. I don't know if they're in contention. That would be Desert Mirage, and then Banning 48-14 over Desert Hot Springs. Ridge Turner, SoCal Coyote, is involved with Banning, and I kind of think he might have been playing because he played so hard on Sunday when the Coyotes beat the Hawks, the Sharks, 22-10. Getting back to that, we're going to have Jake Sheffield come on in a few minutes, talk about the new show, and we're going to get some information about what some of those guys left out on the field. So that's going to be really exciting. And then also we got coming up, Al, the 2018 Pickleball Championships. That'll be November 3rd through 11th at the Indian Wells Tennis Gardens. They're expecting about 2,500 participants, varying all ages, all ranges, both men and women. And it's going to be sponsored by Margaritaville, and they're going to be a title sponsor, and they're going to be there promoting their national brand, which is both their food and Margaritaville. Wasn't that
Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett. Didn't he brand that trademark? I
think he did. Yeah, and just for all those out there that aren't aware of what pickleball is, it has nothing to do with pickles. So it's a fun.
Thanks for that.
I just want to clarify.
But how do they come up with pickleball? I don't. Tennis is tennis, right?
Tennis is tennis, and pickleball is tennis, but in a smaller area with a softer ball.
Yeah, instead of the court being long, it's just you just play short and half
and narrow. I've played it before. It's fun and it's very quick too.
Yeah,
it's a good workout.
Yeah, I'm a tennis guy. I have never played pickleball, but with all the times I've beaten you in ping pong, maybe I should. I'll crush you in pickleball.
Don't be lying to our fans out here.
I haven't played ping pong in a while, not beer pong, okay? And then we got the we're trying to Sport Reports, trying to keep everybody informed of what's going on in the Coachella Valley from high school sports. The Palm Desert girls tennis team champions again, and the playoffs.
And the Palm Desert girls golf team.
Yeah.
Something what about 21 victories in a row, I believe. So
we're gonna
pretty
follow
solid.
that.
You got
We
some
spoke
great young local golfers out here now.
unbelievable. And then Xavier volleyball, girls volleyball, undefeated. The playoffs start next week on the 18th of October. So get out and support your favorite high schools. I guess right now, since I didn't go to high school here, I'm going to support all of them. But I'm going to take Palm Desert. I think Shadow Hills is going to come back. They were 0-4 to start the season, but this is the first time they beat Xavier ever. So that was a big victory for Shadow Hills. I like their look. They had their running back and quarterback, Johnson. Wow, what an athlete. They couldn't bring him down. I called tons of plays where he just got the ball and took off. So I'm going to take Palm Desert, Shadow Hills, and I don't know. I have not seen Banning or Coachella play, but they're dropping a lot of points on people.
Dark Horse, Coachella Valley. They
Really?
are, compared to years before of what they've done. I mean, you're talking over 60 points almost every game. They're not giving up that many points. They have a coach out there that has brought these guys together, and it's exciting to see. Coachella Valley Arabs could be.
So that's your dark horse.
That's my dark horse. Yes.
Yeah, Scott Alvarez has taken La Quinta, so we don't think he's very right on that one. But I'm going with Palm Desert. I'm not biased. I watched Shadow Hills play. I don't know. We'll have to see. We got the next couple weeks. Friday Night Lights. Check out the NBC Palm Springs. Amy Zimmer and their crew do one heck of a job of covering both Friday night and the SoCal Coyotes live on Facebook. Go to SoCal Coyotes, like us, check out our game. Now, Al, we got the big game Saturday, 7 p.m., Shadow Hills High School, the SoCal Coyotes against the California Wolfpack. The Wolfpack beat us, ended our 28. We're going to have to ask Jake Sheffield about that because I don't think he was very happy about that. I think he played in 28 straight games that we won. So it was very difficult for me to call. Well, it was difficult for us this weekend. At halftime, we were down 14 to 9, I think? 14 to 9.
Yeah, 14 to 9.
Yeah, and so we've never been faced with that. Talking with Coach Miller yesterday at the Howl and Prowl show at Big Rock Pub, he said a few things, and then he left it up to the players, to find out who you are. And like you said, we could hear him up in the booth.
Yeah, and one thing, after the last play of the game, a lot of the players on both teams were playing on both sides, offense and defense. So it was an afternoon game.
It was warm.
You could tell they were, exhausted, and people were just giving 110% effort, chasing down the quarterbacks on both sides. And after the end of the play, it looked like there was about at least 20, 25 people on their backs on the field just going, what a game.
What do you mean? I cramped in the booth. I was so tired.
Yeah,
I was I called for a trainer. Hey, let's talk real quickly Major League Baseball. Dodgers are down 2-1. They lost last night. My mom's still crying about it, but we're going to get through it. The Brewers are tough. I don't know who the Dodgers didn't come to play yesterday.
No, they didn't. Brewers are tough. We know that. They had a great record this season. I think they were the number one ranked or most wins in the major leagues. Yeah. Dodgers, they have a tendency to want to stress Dodger fans out. They're good, they're bad, they're good, they're bad, and they just make it, very hard to watch sometimes.
Hard to watch. It's playoff baseball, so you've got to be able to have maybe a little quicker trigger when you're getting rid of your pitchers. If they're not going, you don't usually have tomorrow to play. Yasmani Grandal has been struggling, 3 pass balls. The fans were booing him, and look, if you're loyal, you don't boo guys. He's trying. He's not like he's not trying.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were booing Dave Roberts also with some questionable coaching calls. Like maybe he should have bunted that person over to second or
well,
third.
That too. But then I complained when they were in Milwaukee the other day. There's a guy that sits in the front row wearing a Marlins jersey, and the dude is on his phone like this. The guy didn't see the game. And then I was saying, God, I don't have to look at that guy. I turned the game on last night, and he's in the second row. So how did he get there? Who's on their phone for like 5 straight hours? What are you doing? I can't even. Man, more than 10 minutes. I'm tired.
Probably taking selfies.
No, he wasn't taking. He was scrolling. He was scrolling. How do fans who go to sporting events from the Super Bowl to the National League Division Championship and be on their phone?
Yeah.
I could understand, taking a picture. Hey, I'm at the Dodger game, but
there's people all the time, just
I know
the whole time. But
another,
what are you going to do? That's
another Shield of Dreams production. Conrad Negron, Alex Negron. What do you think last night about Aaron Rodgers pulling that thing right out of his head? I mean, I guess they got on one of the announcers, Jason Witten, for saying Aaron Rodgers just pulled a rabbit out of his head when it's rabbit out of his hat. We all say dumb things. Not me, but
yeah. What are you going to say? You're on the cuff and you say something, but who cares? What's wrong with it? I think we knew what everyone meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, the last couple minutes with what he did with pinpoint passes and catches to the end zone and the drive. Yeah, I'm watching it and going, Packers are going to win.
Yeah, but you know what? If you look at it Monday night, Tuesday quarterbacking, Aaron Rodgers was sacked, and they had a call on Sherman, the 49ers, for an illegal hit, an illegal touch on the Packer receiver. That was a 15-yard penalty. I saw the replay. I got a hard time making that call. But hey, that's it. NFL's really picking up. The Rams. Woo!
Rams, there we go. They could
so
go
undefeated. Are you a Ram fan again?
I'm a Ram fan again.
So
yes.
So they left St. Louis and you became a fan again?
I was a Ram fan when
Kurt
Louis? Warner was president. President when he was quarterback and won the Super Bowl. And then I've always been a Ram fan.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, we grew up with the Rams, and I really love their uniforms, the white and blue horns. It goes back to the old days when Deacon Jones and Dick Bass were on the Rams. We always go. I go at it with our coach, Coach Pastor Cummings, because he's from LA, and we bring up the numbers, and I stump him because I think we're both good at that.
Jack Snow, 84.
Jack Snow, 84. Conrad Negron with Alex Negron on the Sport Report, another Shield of Dreams production brought to you by Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority. Stay with us. We'll be right back with a special guest.
Hotels and resort communities use Olin. Celebrities and past presidents use Olin. Olin Security Incorporated, a trusted leader providing security guard services to Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley for over 30 years. We are local. We are family owned. We are Olin Security Incorporated. Call 760-320-5303. That's 760-320-5303. Or on the web at olinsecurityinc.com.
Big Rock Pub and Indian Springs Golf Club are proud to announce they are corporate partners of your four-time champions, SoCal Coyotes. Voted Desert's best live entertainment and golf, we provide a dining and live music experience unmatched anywhere in the Coachella Valley. With outdoor pool tables, fine dining, and a desert-style socializing area with ambiance to match. Big Rock Pub and Indian Springs Golf Club is located off of Jefferson Street in Indio, California. Give them a call today at 760-200-9844 or reach them online. Look to the SoCal Coyotes official live entertainment and golf corporate partner, Big Rock Pub and Indian Springs Golf Club, the desert's best in dining and live entertainment.
Originally formulated for military and law enforcement elite special ops. Because fit is hard to kill. SWAT fuel supplements. Optimizing human performance.
Welcome back to the Sport Report. Conrad Negron for Shield of Dreams Productions, brought to you by Coachella Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority. Alex Negron is giving up his chair to Mr. Jake Sheffield. Jake, how are you?
I'm doing good. A little bit sore still, but
still a little sore?
Still alive. Yes, sir.
Well, we got SoCal Coyotes captain Jake Sheffield, who led the charge. Let's talk a little football before we get into your show. 22-20, a warm day. The California Sharks came to play.
Oh, yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the about how it went at halftime. I've called the games now for a few years. You guys have never been down at halftime in my career.
Right. Yeah, we had a little bit of slow start, but hats off to the Sharks, man. They came and traveled. It's quite a bit of travel, and to show up and to play the way that they did, especially and that's the one great thing about the rosters being open every week, like the NFL here in the DFI, is that teams can get better week by week.
Well, they sure as heck did get better in 2 weeks.
100%. So, from the last time we saw them, it was a complete different game from last time. So hats off to them. But warm day, no excuse for out in the desert. But, we got off to a slow start. The defense kind of gave up, two big plays that resulted in the touchdowns. And, our offense
those
came
were
out.
60 and 70-yard plays.
Yeah, man. One of them, was a huge run from the quarterback, and then the other one was kind of a fluke play. But players make plays, so they made a great play on the ball off a deflection and in the end zone. So we found ourselves down pretty quickly, and but the thing at halftime was just focus on our style of football. Get back to Coyote football. I feel like people a little frantic, and so we calm everyone down, and we just got back to playing Coyote football. And so I think that was the most important thing.
Well, the thing I noticed, Ridge Turner, and then guys going both ways. You played offensive line, you're the defensive end and the captain of the team, but we had other guys going both ways. Now I call Ridge Turner, and I'm calling offense. We give the ball to the Sharks, and Ridge Turner's lining up at free safety and blitzing.
Right.
I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, I actually didn't know Ridge was on defense. And I saw the same play as you. I come off the end, and I just see somebody shoot through the middle of the line, and I'm like, who is that? And the tackle for loss, and Ridge gets up. I was like, oh, Ridge is playing safety now. All right, cool. We're rolling.
I mean, that guy is a football player.
No, Ridge, hats off to Ridge, man. He played his heart out. And he left it all on the field, that's for sure. Literally. And hats off to some of the guys that played both ways. Shows heart. And sometimes with the rosters being 35-man roster here in the DFI, sometimes you have injuries and other guys have to fill in. And so it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to grit those games out and play your heart and soul out.
Well, I tell you, I was telling Alex called the 101-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
How many games have you ever played in that 101-yard touchdown?
So
you were on the field, right? Or you weren't?
No, I was actually. That was one play. I was off the field.
Special teams. Yeah, you were. They didn't have time to put you out there.
In football, it's always about three phases of football. People most of the time pay attention to offense and defense, and they kind of they look at a game and say, "Oh, our offense or our defense," but lost or won the game. But people don't understand how crucial special teams are, especially in circumstances like that. With the Coyotes, we had just taken the lead. And then we give up a huge touchdown return on a kickoff. So really, the momentum swung one way all the way to the opposite way. And so special teams are huge, and playing special teams, the Coyotes, we've always pride ourselves with playing great special teams. And those guys that are trying to earn spots on starting defense or starting offense, those guys have to show up on special teams. And we say, hey, you want to make a name for yourself, make a name for yourself on special teams. So we take great pride in that. So unfortunately, we gave up that one long touchdown at a crucial time of the game, and but luckily we found our way back with that.
Well, Coach Miller said that he was going to do his best Woody Hayes and stick his leg out on the field and to do a little trip him up, but he didn't do it. He's not going to do that. We can laugh about it on Tuesday, right. But I just want to. Calling the game, I was tired. I joke about cramping. I was Ridge Turner, Silas McPhee.
Yeah.
That guy. We talked about him yesterday. That guy got targeted, which was touchy on a play, but he got up and he made some big open field tackles.
Right. No, I was really proud of Silas. I actually came up to him after the game was over and just said how proud I told him how proud I was. Being that Silas is one of those guys where he's filled in on defense. He hasn't really started before. However, with injuries and stuff, we trusted him enough to start this week. And there's a few times where I was still kind of iffy about, but man, I'm telling you, Silas really showed up to play, and I'm super proud of him, and I'm really excited to see how he's grown since he's gotten here. And just watching, certain techniques of his getting better and his confidence building, and then him just really being able to let loose and to play and have fun with some of the guys, and really just he's starting to come into his own. So I was really proud of how he performed. Super proud of Will Hoagland, Jordan Warford. Jordan Warford has been around for a few years, but I've never seen him play a game like he played this weekend. I told him I was super proud of him, as well as Nick Long too. Mm-hmm. Nick Long also, he played his heart out. Played swapped out with me on offensive line a few times, but man, there's a lot of guys that stepped up for that win.
Well, do you think as a player? You know who the guys are in the room who gave it everything,
right?
And you know the guys that didn't. Your trust in these guys as a team has to just really rise,
right? Yeah, and I mean that game, those kind of games are crucial because it's easy. It's always easy to see somebody's character when things are going easy because it's easy to have great character. But a test of a true man's character is when he's been punched in the mouth and he's got to respond. And that moment exposes what kind of character he has. And so I was super proud of this team to see how we were down and we got punched right in our mouth right off the bat, and to see how our guys responded with just Coyote football. We just went out there and played one snap at a time, and we put all our 15 seconds of pure effort into it, and we took next snap, and all of a sudden you see those snaps start to build up, and you start seeing a momentum building, and I was super proud of just how the whole team responded to adversity.
Well, it was exciting. Let's talk about one more thing about the game. They got down to the 15-yard line with 9 seconds left. You were on the field.
Right.
You were one of the guys who was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. We couldn't catch that guy, that Donnie Duncan for the Sharks. I'm sure you have nightmares about him. You couldn't catch him.
Well, not so much nightmares, but after the play, I was like, man, you're a great athlete. I was at the end of the play. It was. That last play was pretty tough. Everybody on the field gave it all. Every single player on the field had nothing left in the tank, and both teams were trying to win the football game. But hats off to him, man. There was like 4 or 5 of us chasing him.
You were chasing him. He scrambled from the 15.
Hey, that guy, he's elusive, man. I'm telling you that. At the end of the game, I'm not gonna make excuses. I should have had the tackle, but I was smoked. My legs are tired. But hats off to him, man. He's a heck of an athlete. We were chasing him around.
It was
for 15
so
yards.
much fun. I mean, I was in the booth. Alex was calling it. He didn't know. He kept going right. I mean, he rushed for 100 yards on that play. And he went backwards. He kept going backwards.
We could not get a hold of him.
He threw it from the 40-yard line into the end zone, and then whatever happened down there, and the ball rolled away, and everybody was laying down. Everybody was down.
I just remember right before he threw it right on the sideline, I believe it was Jordan, and I hit him. And I remember falling through the air, just turning and watching the ball sail to see where it was going. And all I could do is just watch it sail towards the end zone, and everybody jumping. I was like, please, just don't let the Sharks catch the big ball.
It was from my angle, being high up, it was going right into the Shark's mouth. You know, unbelievable. Jake Sheffield here, captain of the SoCal Coyotes. Jake, you're embarking on a new show with Michael Carls, our quarterback who was injured this year.
Right.
But you're doing SWAT Fit over at SWAT Fuel. Dan Olnesnicki on the SWAT team. He's a doctor. Tell us about what the show is about and what you're trying to do.
Right. So we start the Mike and Jake SWAT Fit Power Hour, and we're going to be recording live from the Human Performance Lab at SWAT Fuel. And basically what our show is going to go over is physical fitness, but not only just the physical aspect of being physical fit, but also the spiritual and mental portion of being fit and living a healthy lifestyle. And so we're gonna discuss a bunch of different topics as far as that, as far as diet, what kind of meditation or what kind of spiritual journey you can do to help with your physical fitness, diet, obviously different types of workouts you can do, supplementation. And so we're super excited about the show and where we're going to take this, and it really gives us a lot of options to kind of explore and to reach our audience.
Well, a lot of the audience out there, there's so much health foods and the commercials on TV, but SWAT Fuel is real.
Right.
And what you guys are doing, being able to help, and I talked to Michael Carls about this last week on the show, is you can help people who are 15 and 60.
Right.
Because it's not, that I can bench 400 pounds. It's just that I can bench 50 pounds and still get the same exercise. Is that right?
Right. When we talk about, we're going to talk about the different types of knowing what your end goal is and what your expectations are. So my expectations as an athlete might be a little bit different than somebody who's trained to do a marathon. An endurance athlete, or somebody that's a stay-at-home mom, or somebody that's been retired that just wants to stay in shape so they can play tennis or play golf or whatever. So there's so many different types of being fit, or different types of fitness that I think it's important for people to focus, to have set an expectation right off the front. But it's really cool because we get to really talk to all sorts of different types of people and really access what their fitness goals are.
Well, my fitness goals are to get back in shape.
Right.
I'm 40 something. I broke my ankle,
right,
and then I had plantar fasciitis, which Dr. Worley of Coachella Valley Foot and Ankle. The guy just saved my life.
Right.
I mean, my first step out of bed was don't fall.
Right.
People don't know that really hurts if it gets too bad. But anyway, I want to get back in shape. I played some professional baseball, and I'm a pretty good tennis player.
Right.
Haven't been able to do that. Had cataract. I'm getting old, Jake. I'm getting old. But everybody tune in to SWAT Fit. Mike and Jake coming live at SWAT Fuel, and then check out. You guys will have your own Facebook page.
Correct. Yeah, we have our own Facebook page, the Mike and Jake SWAT Fit Power Hour, and we'll be posting different types of workouts and some other information on there, as well as some cut-ups of our shows as well. So
I love it.
People will be able to access that.
I love it. Jake Sheffield coming in. Thanks for your time, Jake.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me, sir.
Another Shield of Dreams production for Coachella Valley Sports and Entertainment Stadium Authority. Conrad Negron, your host of Sport Report, every Tuesday at noon. And then check out Mike Carls and Jake Sheffield, SWAT Fit every Wednesday. Everybody have a great day. God bless.